communication, community, cooperation, collaboration, but we don't like the others see competition. And we see them in conflict with each other. You're either going to be competitive or collaborative. You're either going to be competitive or a team player. And so as we process this and we kind of dove in together, he goes, so it's okay for me to compete with other people? And I said, well, that's a part of competition, but I don't think you should compete against other people. I think that diminishes you. I think you should actually compete against yourself. He goes, well, yeah, but what about if I enjoy competing against other people? Is that okay? And I said, oh, I thought you wanted to be the best in the world. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, if you're the best in the world, you cannot measure yourself against anyone else because you're the best. So you have no one left to measure yourself against. Only when you're not the best can you measure yourself against other people. But if you're the best, the only measure you have is yourself. So you have to compete with yourself. You have to become better than you are right now. So I said, so I'm assuming you want to be the best in the world. Because what I do, well then stop measuring yourself against other people and measure yourself against what you're going to measure yourself against when you're the best. Against yourself. Because, okay, so it's okay to be competitive. So I want to talk to you for a few moments about competition. I want to talk to you about the pursuit of greatness. I want to break down a myth, a misunderstanding about what Jesus said about greatness. And I want you're actually designed to pursue greatness. You're designed to be ambitious. And that you, if you're not careful, might replace ambition with apathy, trying to be more like Jesus. I think most of this is rooted in a conversation that Jesus has with his disciples. And I love the fact that Jesus chose people who ask all the kinds of questions that really we want to ask but don't have the courage to ask. In Matthew chapter 20, beginning in verse 20, it says, then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling down, asked a favor of him. What is it that you want, he asked. She said, grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other at your left in your kingdom. You don't know what you're asking. Jesus said to them, can you drink the cup I am going to drink? We can, they answered. Jesus said to them, you will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right or my left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared by my Father. When the 10 heard about this, they were indignant with the two brothers. Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be the servant. And whoever wants to be first must be your slave. For just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Now, this whole encounter is a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, if you think about it, Jesus calls out these 12 men, fishermen, tax collectors. Jesus was a carpenter. These were men's men. And John and James were these two brothers, the sons of Zebedee, and they were known as the sons of thunder. That's a great name. You just live your whole life, sons of thunder. Kind of creates an identity. And here you have John and James, the sons of thunder, having their mommy go to Jesus and asking him to give them a position of honor. Would you make my sons great? This just feels horrible. Have you ever had your mom intervene for you? Because she felt that you were being underappreciated? Have you been around those kinds of moms? They go to the director in the children's play. My daughter deserves the lead. She's better than the other girl. Have you ever had one of those moms that pushes and pushes? She is going to be a ballerina. She's going to be an Olympian. Have you ever had a mom? Can you imagine your mom going to your football coach? Say, my son should play a wing. What's he doing on the bench? He's better than the other kid. Well, it would be bad enough if John and James had their mom go to Jesus without them knowing it. That would be humiliating. To wake up the next day and have Peter going, hey, your mommy came by, talk to Jesus. But it was worse than that. Their mother went to Jesus and they were with her. They were just hiding behind Mom. And when Mom, go ahead, ask him now, go ask him. And she goes, Jesus, I have something to ask you. It's not for me, it's for my boys. And she goes, can my sons have the two positions, one to your right, one to your left? You can choose which one. They're both awesome. I love the awkwardness of the next moment. She asks Jesus this question, but Jesus ignores her and looks right at the two men. I see you. Because you don't even know what you're asking for. Can you drink from this cup? Well, we can. Now they step in. Jesus said, can you take the level of pain that is a prerequisite for this level of greatness? Because you don't even know what you're asking for. And then he goes on to say that the other disciples heard what was going on and they became indignant. I love that word. You ever been indignant? You know when you become indignant? When someone else gets what you wanted. When someone else has the audacity to ask for what you wanted, but you didn't have the courage to ask for it. The only reason the other 10 were indignant is because they wanted the same thing. How dare John and James get their mom to go ask for what they wanted? You know when you're indignant? When someone else asks for the job that you wanted and they get it. Who do they think they are? The person with the job. You know when you become indignant? When that guy asks the girl you want to go out with on a date and she says yes. You're indignant because she's with the girl you wanted. You become indignant when another person lives the life you always wanted but didn't have the courage to live. And they were indignant because they came and asked for positions of honor. So then Jesus calls them together and begins to teach them about greatness. And this is where I think we've misunderstood Jesus. Jesus called them together in verse 25 and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. So Jesus says, look, I understand that you've been informed by your culture and that you have a particular understanding of greatness. But if we're going to have this conversation, if we're going to go further down into this conversation about greatness, I need you to change your definition of greatness so that I can get you to change how you aspire toward greatness. I need you to change how you try to acquire greatness. We have to change the definition. I know that the officials and elders use authority in this way, but it's not going to be like this in my kingdom. Not so with you. I want you to change the way you understand greatness. But see, a lot of us think that Jesus was actually saying, don't be great. Don't aspire to greatness. This is wrong. You think this is the God smackdown. Only I'm great. God is great. Stop trying to be great. But that's not what Jesus said. He says, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great, ... He's about to say something. And we know what he's going to say. But I want you to understand something. What Jesus says next does not apply to you if you do not want to be great. See, what Jesus is about to say will have no relevance in your life if you're comfortable in the status quo. What Jesus is about to say will have no relationship to your life if you've chosen to live a life of mediocrity. He says, if you want to become great, then. So there's not a then unless there's an if. If you want to be great, so I guess that's the first question. Do you want to be great? Yes! I'm just going to own it publicly. I want to be great. I don't want to be above average. I don't want to be pretty good. I want to be great. In fact, I recently spoke in South America. I think in, Ecuador. Because I've been in Ecuador and Colombia, and I'm getting confused. So I was there for an event, and it was really awesome. It was a secular event. There were no Christians almost. And they'd never had a Christian speaker before. And in fact, the speaker right before me was talking about how to take your sex life as a married couple, put it online, and make money from it. That's how secular the conference was. And she got to speak twice. And so they invite me to speak. And I'm telling you, I did everything I can. I just threw down as hard and as strong as I could. And then I saw the guy who invited me just a couple of months ago. He came to LA. He goes, man, you were a hit. I said, I was? He goes, yeah. On the ratings, you came in 4th. I said, what? My wife was there. She knew this wasn't going well. I said, what? He goes, no, it was amazing. You came in 4th. And he started naming these other speakers from around the world. They didn't even do that well. She came in 9th, and he came in, whoa. I came in what? It's 4th. He was saying it like I should be happy. I said, you think that you're giving me good news to tell me I came in 4th? I said, invite me back. I can do better. Somehow he thought I should be happy coming. Oh, that's my life goal. I want to come in 4th. Jesus, if you want to be great. See, what Jesus is about to teach us only applies if you are driven to greatness. Anybody here want to be great? Are you tired of settling for the status quo? Are you tired of living in mediocrity? Are you tired of accepting less and you're determined to receive the more? Because what God is looking for are men and women who refuse to settle for less and will rise up to their greatness. You don't have to teach this to children. Children get it. They live in an illusion of greatness. Just ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? No one else says, you know, I want to be on a soccer team that's always relegated down. It never really makes the Premier League. I just want to almost make it every year. That's my dream. No one says, I want to play in the NBA. You know, with LeBron. But I don't really want to play. Because that's way too much pressure. I don't want to start. I don't even want to be in the top 10. I want to be that 11th and 12th guy who gets to wear the uniform, sit on the bench but never plays. I want to be on the team but never break a sweat. No one says that, and it's a great job. I want to get paid to watch the best players in the world play basketball. Wouldn't that be epic? You know, one in the States says, I want to be vice president. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be vice president. I want to be close to the person with power, but actually have one. When you ask a little child what they want to be, I want to be an Olympian. They don't say, I want to go to the Olympic Games and I want to come in 4th. I want to be right after the medals. Because they know, I want to be like Jesus, so I don't want to take a medal. That would be all about me. I want to be about him, so I want to come in 4th. Can you imagine the next campaign for the Olympics? Go for the bronze. Nobody goes for the bronze. In fact, if you're going for the bronze, you won't even make it on the team. You only get the bronze because you went for the gold. But somehow, our ambition to greatness that we have as children, it gets beaten out of us when we become adults. And we just decide that greatness is for a few, but not for me, not for us. And Jesus says, if you want to become great, then you must become the servant of all. Now, see, this is the way we tend to hear it. Don't aspire to be great. Aspire to be a servant. So we go, okay. I'll be a servant. I really, really, really want to be great. Okay, I'll be a servant. I want to be like Jesus. But something inside of me wants to be great. And it can even be frustrating. Oh man, I could have been great, but I gave my life to Jesus. I could have been great, but I gave all that up. You ever heard people say that? I was on my way to greatness, but then I met God. And now I live a life of happy mediocrity. See how spiritual I am? I'm just average. That's my proof that I love Jesus. If you want to be great, that's what Jesus said. He asked a question, and I'm convinced he's still waiting for us to answer. If you want to be great, then you must become the servant of all. He doesn't say, give up your desire to be great. He says, this is the path to greatness. Servanthood is not the opposite of greatness. Servanthood is the path to greatness. He says that whoever wants to be first must be your slave. That's a little harsh. Whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to live his life as a ransom for many. So it's a little confusing, because Jesus is the greatest servant who ever lived. Does that mean that Jesus never achieved his greatness? Or is it possible that in fact Jesus is the greatest servant who ever lived? And he was the greatest man who ever walked this earth. Is it possible that in fact Jesus is the greatest person who ever lived because he was the greatest servant who ever lived? It's kind of curious in Mark chapter 9, same conversation, different moment. Verse 33 says, they came to Capernaum, the disciples, and when he was in the house, I love that, Jesus is in the house. When he was in the house, he asked them, what were you arguing about on the road? He could hear them arguing. And they must have been walking, and maybe Jesus was walking behind them, or maybe he was walking in front of them, but they kind of clustered together. They didn't think Jesus could hear them, so they were arguing. It's amazing the kinds of things we'll talk about when we don't think God is listening. And it says, but they kept quiet. So Jesus, what were you arguing about? They kept quiet. Why did they keep quiet? Because on the way, they had argued about who was the greatest. I love that. It exposes so much. So here they are, 12 disciples walking with Jesus, and they're having a conversation about greatness. I think it would be impossible to not have a conversation about greatness when you're around Jesus, because you're watching greatness right in front of you. So they're talking about greatness, but they're talking about who's the greatest. And they clearly did not agree on it because they were arguing. So maybe Peter's saying, I'm the greatest, and John's saying, I'm the greatest, and his brother's saying, no, I'm greater than both of you. Bartholomew, maybe, who never says anything, says, maybe me. And they're arguing about who's the greatest. And so when Jesus says, what are you guys arguing about? They go, nothing, Lord. No, I can tell you were arguing. What were you talking about? And they just stay quiet. You know why they stay quiet? Because in a conversation about who's the greatest, their answer wasn't Jesus. Crazy, isn't it? They're with Jesus, and they didn't pick him as the greatest. That's kind of awkward. What are you talking about? We're talking about who was the greatest. See, if they had been walking and arguing about who was the greatest, and one of them said, do you know who the greatest is? They go, who? You? He goes, no, Jesus. See, I think Jesus is the greatest. They probably always said, well, yeah, but he doesn't count. He's God. See, I think the reason they didn't want to answer is because they didn't point to Jesus as the greatest. They're fighting for their own greatness. And then Jesus, it says, calls them together. Sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, anyone who wants to be first must be last and be the servant of all. See, that's the tricky thing. We want to be first. It doesn't say don't want to be first. I want you to listen carefully. It does not say stop wanting to be first. He says anyone who wants to be first must become last. So we go, okay. I want to be first, so I'm going to be last so I can be first. And so we hold on, I'm last, I want to be first, I'm last. Oh my God, this is so painful. How long do I have to be last, Jesus, before you make me first? And we keep getting it wrong. We don't understand that the back of the line is actually the front of the line. We keep going to the back of the line thinking Jesus is going to move to the front of the line. And he keeps telling us in the kingdom, the back of the line is the first. So if you want to be great in my kingdom, be the servant of all. If you want to be first, be last, because here is where I measure greatness. See, fame is what you do for yourself. But greatness is what you do for others. We were playing basketball, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and it wasn't going well. Well, for me, it was going really well for others. I kept losing. I don't like losing. I'm not used to it, and I don't want to ever get used to it. And it was just I just kept losing, and it wasn't my team, it was me. I knew that I was the missing or the weak link on a very weak link. And I was just so frustrated. No matter what I did, I just kept losing. And so I lost. I walked down the hall. I saw this chair by itself. I thought, I can just go sit by myself. I have a moment of reflection. So I went and sat down in this chair just to be by myself, pray. To ask God if he was still good. Why Jesus wasn't coming through in my life. And so I'm sitting there and just trying to process all these losses. And my son Aaron goes by. He could be a little edgy. He walks by and he goes, pouting. I said, what? What'd you say? He said, you heard me. Pouting. He just kept on walking. I just felt all this heat inside my body. He walked back, he goes, what's wrong with you? I said, just leave me alone. Just sit by, can't you see I'm sitting by myself? Just let me have my space. So he went and played because he was on the winning team. So he had a great attitude. And he was feeling great about life. And so I grabbed the extra basketball, went to the other side of the court and just started shooting by myself where the losers go. And I was just trying to get my stroke back and get myself in the right headspace. And then I guess the game was over there, and Aaron comes over and he goes, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. He goes, are you okay? I said, yeah, just warming up. Are you sure? Because you seem really upset. I go, no, I'm okay. He goes, are you mad at me? No, I'm not mad at you. He goes, are you sure? Are you sure you're not mad at me? Because I feel like you're mad at me. And I go, look, I'm not mad at you yet, but I'm not mad at you. He goes, what's wrong? And I said, okay, I hate to lose. I like winning. I prefer winning. And I looked at him, it was all sincerity. As a father looked at his son, and I said, I know this is hard for you to believe. And I know I hide it well. But I'm really competitive. And Aaron looked at me and goes, you don't hide it well. We've known all of our lives that you're really competitive. You're the only one who's confused about this. And I stopped and I thought to myself, why is it that I'm having a hard time owning this? So this is sort of like my AA meeting. I decided to go public. I love to win. And I hate to lose. And I'm really, really, really competitive. And you know what's worse? I like it. But here's the problem. We've been taught that competitive people are the opposite of Christ-like people. Because I think of this one verse in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but rather in humility value others above yourself. So when we hear that, we go, oh, you see, ambition is a dangerous thing. And so you can have some ambition, but you don't want to be too ambitious, right? Because if you're too ambitious, it's going to go wild. It's going to go bad. And so we tell people, you can have some ambition, just enough to not be apathetic. But you don't want to be consumed with ambition, right? Because if you're consumed with ambition, you will not be like Jesus. That's how I know we don't believe ambition is a virtue. Because whenever we believe something is a virtue, we want more and more and more of it. We want all of it we can get. Have you ever said to someone, all right, You need to be loving because God is love, and the proof of being a follower of Jesus is love. So you need to love, but don't go crazy. You need to keep just a little bit of hate. Because without that hate, you can get taken care of, you get taken advantage of. Right? So you need to love, but just do that in moderation. Don't go crazy, love it. Don't love everyone. Love selectively, love carefully. You don't want to run out. You got a long road ahead of you. You don't ever say to anyone, you need integrity, but don't go crazy with integrity. You don't need all the integrity, because then you won't be any fun. And you won't even be able to enjoy life without integrity. But we believe integrity is essential, so we say, no, you need to be a person of integrity. No exceptions. You ever tell a person, you need to forgive, but you got to keep a little bitterness in your soul. Because without a little bitterness, you're going to get bit again. You know, Lord, how many times do I need to forgive? 70 times 7. What does that mean? Always. Continuously. Endlessly. You know how much forgiveness you need? As much as you can get. You ever talk about wisdom like that? Anybody here want wisdom? Yeah. Anybody here need wisdom? Yeah. But don't go crazy being wise. Be a little stupid. You're going, I got that covered. Because you want to be just a little stupid. Because wisdom, if you have too much wisdom, it's going to drive you crazy. No, you need all the wisdom you can get. How about courage? I just need a little bit, I just need enough courage to get me over my little fears. So you need all the courage you can get. Then why do we talk about ambition as if we have too much of it, it corrupts us? See, the Bible does not say, do nothing out of ambition. It says, do nothing out of selfish ambition. Which means that ambition must be corrupted for it to be destructive. See, the opposite of selfish ambition is not humility. The opposite of selfish ambition is ambition. And when you live an ambitious life, you walk in humility. Because it is not corrupted by selfishness, but fueled by servanthood. Jesus was teaching them a whole new way to understand life. He said, if someone takes your coat, because the Romans would come and say, give me your jacket, I'm cold. They would do it just to humiliate the men. So when they take your coat, you give them your shirt too. You go, you cannot take from me more than I'm willing to give to you. This is my power. You're just a thief. I am generous. I am more powerful than you. You only steal because you do not know you can create. Jesus says, if someone makes you carry their pack for a mile, because that's what the Roman soldiers would do. They'd find these young Israelite boys and say, my horse needs a rest. My mule needs a break. You will be my mule for the next mile. Pick up my pack and carry it. Can you imagine being a Hebrew? Knowing that if you could find that Roman soldier in a dark alley, you could end him. But you can't. Because there's not just one of them. And they have weapons and horses and backups, and you're just one man. And if you do something, your whole family will be killed. So you carry that pack for a mile, and at the end of that mile, you feel so powerless. And Jesus says, when they make you carry it a mile, I'm going to teach you how to be more powerful than them. I'm going to show you what greatness is. When he says, all right, you Hebrew dog, you can put my pack down. I'll let my donkey do what you've been doing. You look at him and go, what are you talking about? That first mile was nothing. I'm just warming up. I'm going to walk with you another mile because I can do more than you could ever demand of me because I am free. New image of greatness. But The world does not know how to understand. It confounds them when you choose the greatness that comes out of servanthood. You see that in King David. All the way back in 1 Samuel 17. Look with me at verse 33. You know where they're at. Saul and his armies are on the edge of the battle. Goliath is on the other side mocking all the Hebrew soldiers. No one wants to go to war with him. He's mocking them and mocking God. And David has been sent to deliver cheese. I love that. Big job. Deliver cheese, David. So David delivers cheese to the front line, sees what's going on, volunteers. Let me tell you, don't wait for God to draft you, just volunteer. Because it's amazing what God can do through volunteers. And Saul replied to David, you are not able to go against this Philistine and fight him. You're only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth. But David said to Saul, now listen to his language. But David said to Saul, your servant. There it is. See, David knew who he was. He was the servant. See, we all know David as king, and we would all love to be kings. We pray and ask God to expand our territories and do royal kind of things with us. And we want to be kings, but we're not ready to be kings because we haven't learned how to be warriors. And even some of us go, I want to be a warrior. I want to fight the big fight. I want to slay dragons and take down giants. But we don't know how to be warriors because we haven't learned how to be shepherds. And we don't even know how to be good shepherds because we don't know how to be servants. It says, your servant, oh, by the way, here's what your servant has done, has killed both a lion and a bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. I love how he describes this thing. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, mistake, I seized it by the hair, I struck it, said something about his mama, and then I killed it. So your servant has killed the lion and the bear. So your servant is ready to kill the giant. Now, I don't know if you know this, but David's resume was different than other shepherds. See, if I was a shepherd and a lion came and took a sheep, I just don't think I would chase the lion down. I would think that's just the cost of doing business. You lose one, you save 99. I mean, who goes after the one? So David said, there was a lion, and it took one of my, it wasn't even his sheep, one of my father's sheep. I go, well, you know, my dad, you'll understand. Not even my sheep. But I've been entrusted with my father's sheep, so when the lion took it, I went after it, I chased it down, and I took it back. And then there was a bear, and I'm like, where are you working, man? Where there's a lion and a bear, find a more peaceful village or valley. But then there was a bear. And it was taking off a sheep, and I chased it down, and then I said, and then it turned on me. What was that bear thinking? That bear thought he was just attacking a shepherd boy. He didn't know he was a warrior in waiting and a king in training. Do not become angry with God when the lions and the bears come into your life. If you don't have any lions or bears in your life, you will never have any giants in your life. And don't get angry with God when he brings giants into your life. Because if you don't have any giants in your life to bring down, you will never step into your role as a king. So David said, I'm just your servant. I'm just a delivery boy. See, I think a lot of us have this sense of greatness. We know that God wants to do something great in our lives. But we keep missing the moments that prepare us for that greatness, because those moments that prepare us for greatness look like service. You know those jobs you've been asked to do that are beneath you? Have you ever felt like all they're doing is asking me to do this, but they don't see my talent, my potential? I'm just cleaning floors or stacking chairs. I'm just working as a barista. I'm just working in this office, but God, can't you see me? See, you know what David did? He redefined every role he ever stepped into. You want God to do more in your life? You do more where you are in your life. What would happen if tomorrow we got up and said, I was born to be great. And today, I will step up and be more than I was yesterday. And today's just a transitional period because tomorrow I'm going to be better than today. What would happen if you went to work and you showed up early and you stayed late and you did more than was asked or expected? What would happen if you treated your job as if God was your employee and you were giving to Him a sacrifice and an altar through your work? See, if we take a paycheck, that is our covenant, not with our boss, but with God to do our best. What would happen if you believed that you were royalty in training? And God's trying to prepare you to lead and to fight. But He can only prepare you to lead and to fight if you are willing to learn how to serve. See, the other path creates corruption. This is the path that transforms us and makes us like God. The one who is most powerful and is never corrupted by power. You've heard it said, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's not true. God has absolute power, and He has never been corrupted. See, absolute power does not corrupt absolutely. Absolute power reveals absolutely. And if God doesn't change your heart before you have power, you will use it to overpower, not to empower. So Paul reminds us of this in 1 Corinthians 9:24. He says, do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? And I know it's not that way anymore, but you're going to have to believe me. There was a time where only one person got the prize. I know everyone here has a trophy for participation. We've grown up in a generation where everyone gets a trophy for showing up. We celebrate that your child just graduated from preschool. It's not Oxford, it's just preschool. All they can do is color, and they could have done that without preschool. But we celebrate them. And we give everyone a trophy. Why? Because we don't want anyone to feel bad. So everyone's a winner. Have you been in that environment? Everyone's a winner. We think that's making everybody better. It's not making everybody better. It's diminishing the sacrifice and discipline of the person who earned it. And it's lying to us about the journey toward greatness. Because your greatness will only come through your discipline. Listen to what he says. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. Oh, really? You have to go through strict training? You ever had that language where if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen? Well, just let Jesus do it through you. It's as if you don't have to do anything. You're just sort of here. You exist and just let God work. You know what I found? God works most powerfully in those who serve most profoundly. And he says, look, everyone's in a race, but only one gets the prize. And he says, run in such a way as to get the prize. You want to know how to live? Run in such a way as to get the prize. You want to know how to work? Run in such a way as to get the prize. You want to know how you should be a husband or a wife or a father or an employee or an employer? Run in such a way as to get the prize. I don't care if you're a teacher or an architect, a doctor or a lawyer, whether you're a barista or a pastor. You need to do that job as the best in the world. You need to get up in the morning and go, no one's going to do this better than me today. And I have no control over 7 billion other people, so I'm going to be the best me I can be in the world. See, I think a lot of times we want to talk to people about God, we want to talk to people about Jesus, we want to talk to people about their faith, but we do such bad work in the world that no one wants to listen to what we have to say. Let me tell you, if you will do your work better than everyone else, if you will bring your best every day in your life, people will be coming to you, asking you what inspires you, what fuels you, what motivates you, what has changed you. He goes on to say, everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. This has been the most misused passage about this. You know how we translate this? Well, it's all going to burn. It's not going to last. We look at people who achieve great things in this world and go, yeah, but it's not eternal. Because we're working for a crown that lasts forever. And we completely misunderstood that. So what he's telling us is that we should have greater passion in this life, not less. We should be more ambitious in this life, not less. We should have higher standards in this life, not less. Because they're working for a crown that does not last, but we're working for a crown that lasts forever. So we should have more passion, more courage, more determination, more resolve, more resilience than anyone in the world. And we kind of make fun of people who are trying to do something in this world. My wife and I were driving through Bel Air, Brentwood, Beverly Hills, something, one of the B's. And we saw this giant mansion. It was really beautiful. Lit up so beautifully at night. And as we were driving by, I looked and I said to my wife, isn't that house beautiful? And she instantly looked at me and said, yeah, but I bet they're not happy. We need them to be unhappy. I said, no, you know what really bothers us? She said, what? That they might live there and be happier than us. And what could really bother us is that they might live there and be happier than us and be better humans than us. See, we've been using this eternal crown as our justification to aspire for less, to do less, to dream less, to risk less, to live less. I'm telling you, God wants you to be ambitious. He wants you to compete against who you are today and let him do more in you tomorrow. He wants you to dream bigger. He wants you to live the bigger. He wants you to risk the bigger. He wants you to know that he's bigger than your small dreams and your small hopes and desires. But then he says, do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself might not be disqualified for the prize. And I understand this. Because on December 15th, I walked into a doctor's office and he told me I had cancer. It was so surreal. It didn't even feel real. But when I looked at my wife, Kim, and I saw her overwhelmed with sadness, it felt real then. And he sent me to a specialist. It was supposed to take me through a radiation process, and the specialist said, I do this. I've done this more than anyone in the world. You don't qualify. The cancer is too advanced. You're going to have surgery. It's the only way we can address this. So he pulled out the names of 3 surgeons, and he said, these are the 3 best surgeons I know. Not 3 of the best in the world. Because I'll call them if you want. I said, call them all. And so one of them responded, 2 of them, but one of them responded right away. And he was a doctor. He's a surgeon, who before he was a surgeon was an engineer. But I guess he had a midlife crisis and decided to become a surgeon. And that's what people do. And because he was an engineer, he invented the robot they call Da Vinci that does the surgery. He became my surgeon. See, I didn't ask for an average surgeon. I didn't want a complacent surgeon. I didn't want a surgeon comfortable with the status quo. I wanted a surgeon who's elevating the game, who's transforming the entire arena of medicine and surgery. I want a surgeon who's dreaming of a bigger success ratio. And so I got the surgeon, and in January of this year, just about 5 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever, they took me into the hospital and they explained what they're going to do, and then they told me I had more cancer than I thought. Right before they put me under, it was so encouraging. And then they went in and opened me up, put 6 holes in my stomach, and went in and fought that cancer and took it out. I was talking to Shane, that young man who asked me about being competitive. I said, Shane, I have a theory. He goes, what's that? I said, my surgeon, Dr. Khalili, I think he's very competitive. In fact, I think he hates to lose. And I wanted to make sure I had a surgeon who was competitive. I want a surgeon so competitive he hates to lose. I want him to see cancer as his opposition and me as his playing field. I want a surgeon who must win. And I think my surgeon was. And so I had a chance to go see Dr. Khalili. And as I was walking out, I said, Dr. Khalili, can I ask you a question? He goes, yeah. I said, I have a theory about you. He goes, what's that? And he's always so stoic. He's the way a surgeon should be. Calm, peaceful. Almost unexpressive in emotion, except for calm and peace. I mean, I don't want a hyperactive, highly emotional ADD surgeon. You're kidding me, not. I want someone who's really centered. I said, Dr. Khalili, I have a theory about you. I think that you're extremely competitive. See, I'm convinced you're so competitive that you hate to lose. He just looked at me with that stoic, unchanging face. I wonder if I'm wrong. And then his face went out of control. He started smiling, grinning from ear to ear, and his eyes lit up. And in a moment of confession, it's like he'd been found out. His hand was in the cookie jar. He looked at me and he said, I'm so competitive. He goes, and I hate to lose. I said, I knew it! You couldn't be this good of a surgeon if you were not competitive. So I want to thank you for being competitive. I want to thank you for hating to lose. I want to thank you for being so ambitious. I want to thank you for winning the battle in my life, going into my flesh and blood and taking that cancer and seeing it as your enemy. See, I think God creates people and places competition in us, ambition in us, desire in us. He places a fire in us, and he wants us to aspire to be the very best that we could ever imagine. And I wonder if you've been settling for less. If you're here and you have just been drowning in mediocrity, you have just accepted the status quo, you believe what others have said about you, that you just don't have what it takes. Remember, David's father didn't even remember him when Samuel came and said, I think one of your sons is king. So David's father lists all the other sons and forgets David. And when Samuel goes, are you sure you don't have another son? It's like, I don't think so. You sure you don't have another son? I have this other son. Oh, what's his name? David. It's not him. See, there's some of you here, all your life you've been told you're not enough. All your life you were told you're insignificant. All your life you were told that you'll never amount to anything. You're not talented enough, gifted enough, intelligent enough. You're not educated enough. And there's somebody here, you're drowning under the weight of all your insignificance. But inside of you, there's a voice that says, no, there's something in me that matters. There's something in me that's supposed to make a difference. And I want you to know that's why Jesus came. He didn't just come to give you life after death. He came to give you life before death. Jesus conquered death on the cross and he rose from the dead so that you can know there's nothing in you that he cannot overcome. And he wants to bring the new out of you. He wants to awaken the greatness that God has placed in you. He wants to take all that talent and potential, all of those gifts and all your intelligence. He wants to take all that stuff that everyone else says wasn't enough. He wants to prove to the world that you and God are unstoppable. That's why I'm so grateful that Jesus came for me. Because I never had anyone look at me and tell me that I mattered, that I could accomplish something. I never had anyone believe there was greatness in me until I met Jesus. And I decided I'm going to stop listening to what everyone else says. And I'm going to listen to what Jesus says. And if he thinks he can do something with me, then I'm just going to believe he's right. There's some of you right now, you just need to cross that line of faith. You just need to give your life to Jesus and let him prove everyone wrong. There is a new life for you, a new beginning for you, a new future for you. It's waiting for you right now. Would you bow your heads and just close your eyes? If you're here, and you've never crossed that line of faith, maybe you've thought about it, struggled with it, but you've never surrendered your life to Jesus. But this is the moment. This is the time for you. You're tired of struggling and doing it on your own. Tired of just punching into the wind and never making any progress. And right now, you're ready to give Jesus your life. I want you to pray a prayer with me right now. And in fact, I'm just going to let everyone pray it out loud so that you can know you're not alone. It's a really simple prayer. Just say this with me right now. Jesus, I give you my life. It couldn't be any simpler than that. It's just one sentence. And if you're here and you know that you need God, you know you need forgiveness and freedom, and you're tired of fighting God. You'd rather have God fighting for you. I want you to pray this prayer right now. Jesus, I give you my life. Just whisper to God right now in the privacy of this moment. Jesus, I give you my life. Just declare it to him right now with everything you have. Just tell him, Jesus, I give you my life. And I want you to know, if you will give him your life, he will give you his life. And it is a great exchange. Right now, just give him your life. Right now, this moment, just tell him, Jesus, I give you my life. If you're here and that's your prayer, I want to pray for you. If you're here, you'd say, that's my confession. That's my prayer. Jesus, I give you my life. That's what I'm declaring right now. I want you just to raise your hand right now and say, that's me. That's my prayer. Right now, just hold it up high. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be hesitant. Don't be ashamed right now. Just raise it high and say, yes, that's my prayer. Jesus, I give you my life. Just hold it up high. I want to see you. Where are you? Beautiful. Anyone else? If your heart is pounding against your chest, if you feel like your arm weighs 1,000,000 pounds and you don't know why you can't raise it, this is the moment for you. This is the moment you need to press against all the doubt and all the fear and just push your arm up and say, yes, Jesus, I give you my life. Nothing is going to stop me. I am ambitious to receive you. I receive you in this moment. Anyone else right now, just hold it high. Say, yes, that's me. This is my moment. This is my night. This is my day. Father, I thank you for those in this moment who've crossed that line of faith, who've declared to you that they give you their lives. I pray that this moment, God, you just wrap them up in your love. Pray that you would whisper into their soul that they are free, they are free, they are free. God, I pray that from this moment forward, they would live in that freedom. And that you would, God, grow that ambition inside of them and inspire in them the greatness that you created them for. And God, I pray for everyone in this place that, God, you would burn a fire inside of them. Take that pilot light, or God, take that dead wood, or take that wet wood, and God, burn a fire in their hearts, in their souls. I pray that they would wake up ambitious to make a difference in the world. I pray that they would aspire to be better than they've ever been. I pray that out of this place, the greatest artists, the greatest doctors, the greatest teachers, the greatest scientists, the greatest pastors, the greatest leaders in the world would emerge. I pray that out of the church, the world would see what it looked like to be fully alive. I pray that our passion, God, would ignite a fire so bright that the world would run to us out of the darkness to the light. God, and I thank you that you did not create us to exist. You created us to live. And we are ambitious for life. We pray your name, Jesus. In your name.